Hi! Thanks for joining me for another episode of What's That All About? So today we're going to be looking at the five famously haunted locations across the United States. I had like 80. I had to whittle them down. I'm sure you've heard of some of them, but maybe you haven't heard of all of them. So let's get right to it. And I love this one. Well, I don't love it. It's horrible, but it's also something I'm very familiar with being from New England. Howard Street Cemetery. It's in Salem, Massachusetts, and it's the location most famous for being the site of the Salem witch trials, which came in 1692. Now, of the 200 people that were accused of witchcraft, 19 were killed by hanging. Nobody burned at a stake or anything like that. There was just no burning of bodies in any way. But anyway, in addition to these 19 people who were hung, an 81-year-old man by the name of Giles Corey was pressed to death with weights. I cannot believe that human beings pressed the body of an 81-year-old to death. That is disturbing. Corey's death supposedly occurred in the present-day Howard Street Cemetery, and the rumor is his ghost still haunts the grounds. And let me tell you, there are plenty of paranormal groups that go there quite regularly at Halloween. If I could ever suggest anything, being from the area out there, do not go to Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween. Oh my gosh. You think New York's crazy? Oh, please, peanut butter and jelly. It's just nuts. It's completely nuts. Next up, we're going to go to New Jersey. We've been there quite a few times in the past couple of weeks, but this time we're going to Pine Barrens. It's a national reserve that stretches across 7 of the state's counties, okay, and is rumored to be the home of, yep, you guessed it, your friend and mine, the Jersey Devil, okay? Now, remember I told you about Mother Leeds, who, this child was her 13th child, and she wished that he would turn into a devil. Just such a bitch for doing that, because damn. But there's more to the story. I did not know this. There's more to the story. The main reason this legend spread was due to a rivalry that Ben Franklin had with an almanac publisher, of all things. The American Almanac's first publisher was Daniel Leeds. He had a reputation as a Satan's harbinger among his fellow Quakers. And when Daniel's son Titan took over publication of the American Almanac, Franklin used his Poor Richard's Almanac to spread supernatural rumors about Titan, and these rumors, over time, morphed into the legend of the Jersey Devil. It's quite a vindictive jerk. I'm sorry, but geez, Franklin. I think that's kind of jerky. Next one up, Stanley Hotel. I want to go here so bad. I have watched so many paranormal shows go to this location. Stanley Hotel is in Estes Park, Colorado. All right. It's inspired by Stephen King was inspired to write The Shining and use this hotel as its setting. Oh, so creepy. But the hotel actually actively promotes the idea that it's haunted and even offers visitors a spirited night tour of the grounds and the hotel. I think that is fabulous. I've watched many of these investigations come back with unbelievable EVPs. They've had, they've seen apparitions. Things have moved. That's like poltergeisty type stuff. And, it's so weird. There's so much to know, and it's so haunted, and I love it, and I want to go. Next up, I want to go to this too. The RMS Queen Mary. Okay. It's a retired British ship that sailed between 1936 and 1967. It was primarily a passenger ship, except for a period during World War II, in which it transported Allied troops and earned itself the nickname the Gray Ghost. Why? Well, Since 1967, the ship has been docked in Long Beach, California. Okay, and now it serves as a hotel and haunted tourist attraction. The Queen Mary Hotel claims to have the spirits of an engineer who died in the engine room. Duh, good spot for it. A little girl is been said to have been seen, and she's supposedly drowned in the first class pool. Doesn't matter what class you're in, anybody can drown in a pool. And a lady in white. I hear lady in white stories all over the place. There's no correlation between them, but it's a very typical apparition people claim to see, which I find very fascinating. I think I've seen something similar to it. I'm not sure if I would call it a lady though. It's just like a mist of some kind. But anyway, I've actually heard of several ghost stories where this lady in white she was crying, and she's in like a nightgown. And you also hear the little girl who's supposedly drowned crying as well. A lot of crying, a lot of tragedy. You wonder why people like me are drawn to it. It's like, I can't, you know what it is? It's the unknown. I want answers. I want to see it for myself and all that stuff. And I'm sure you can relate to that. Some of you out there can relate to that. I know that. Now here's a surprising one. Did not see this one coming. The White House is one of the most haunted locations in the United States. How about that? Now, people have long claimed to have spotted various presidential ghosts in the White House, but the commander-in-chief people claim to see most frequently is Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe. One of the first people to say they saw Lincoln's ghost was Jeremiah, or Jerry, Smith, who worked there between the late 1860s and the 1900s. Now, in addition to Lincoln, Smith claims to have seen the ghost of Ulysses S. Grant and President McKinley. And where am I going? Oh, yeah. And then Winston Churchill saw Abe Lincoln when he was getting out of the tub, of all places. Oh, my God. Abe, what are you doing? So to have Winston Churchill say, he saw something, yeah, it was there. For sure. But anyway, it's crazy stuff. And I never have heard anything about the White House. I'm sure that they would be a little bit put off if I showed up with any kind of equipment to do a paranormal investigation. But it's still pretty cool, And I find it interesting, though, that Abraham Lincoln didn't die in the White House. He was shot in a theater and died at the Peterson House in Washington. So I find that strange. He migrated all the way over to the White House. Interesting enough, but this was a short, tight episode. Just even though I lost my thoughts somewhere around the somewhere, whatever. I'm weird, you know that. But you can stay happy and healthy and stay weird with me, whatever. And until next time, take care. Thanks.